Yeah. Hello, everybody. This is Sheila Kennedy from Professional Notary Services and New York Notary Alliance, and we're here today to keep our notaries in the know. And we have a very special guest today. Her name is Urina Harrell, and she actually we get to work with her every day, but she has a very special skill that we thought we would love to share with you. Hello, Urina.
Hi, Sheila. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be
You
here.
Well, we are thrilled that you had some time to come and spend with us and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yes, so my name is Urina Harrell. I own a full service digital marketing agency, and we actually started kind of in the height of social media. So that's one of our specialties. This is my 10th year owning my business. I started as a sophomore in college, and it's still alive and well. It's still going. I'm really nerdy about psychology and neuroscience, and also very creative. I also paint the things that you see behind me. So marketing just kind of sits perfectly in the middle of all those things.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. So social media, that's a beast that a lot of people don't want to tackle.
Yes. Social media, it's really cool because we've seen really the rise and the change of the industry. So when social media
Mhm,
first came out, it really was that. It was a social platform, it was community. Now, social media is 100% a business. When I think about social media and like tactics, I actually think about what do these businesses, each platform, Facebook, well, now Meta, who owns Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, these are all individual companies, and
mhm.
while we think about them for us, we're like, oh, it's just social media. They're companies with their own goals and financial targets. So the
Mhm.
way that I used to think about social was just as community, but now it's like, what do these corporations want? And how can I make sure that the content for my clients fits into their actual goals? Because that at the end of the day is going to bring them revenue. And that's what's going to drive our reach individually. So it's really interesting the
Yes.
change we've seen.
Yes, and they're business owners that are making a lot of cash, because of our desire to be, on social media. But I think too, one of the things is that or I've seen anyway, that social media is not always social, right? That you can use it for other things. And so, do you want to touch about that a little bit and how that works into, like what you do?
Yeah, so social is business, it's political, it's really everything. So at the end of the day, I like to drill down to what is social media. Social media is a communication channel, and every communication channel can be leveraged for communication. So if you need to communicate a new service or a new offering, you can do that on social media. If you need to communicate that there's political unrest, and you want to bring awareness to an issue, you can do that on social media. And if you want to tell your best friend happy birthday, you can do that on social media. Um, and there's a few tactics depending on what your end goal is, right? So if your end goal is to raise awareness about a new product or service to your existing customers and clients, then maybe you're posting on your own socials and then going through your following list and engaging with people who you're following already just to say, hey, we have something new here. Or you're DMing them directly saying, you've been following me for a while. I'd love to learn more about what you do, which actually works really, really well in the service industry.
Yeah.
Those personal touch points, if you don't just
Mhm.
spam them and you're actually being engaging, you decide
Mhm.
for 10 minutes a day, I'm going to pick 15 people to send a DM to and just check in on them and saying, hey, I know we haven't spoke personally, but we're following each other. Would love to learn more. You'll be amazed at how much you can generate from just that.
Right.
And those are
Sure.
more hand-to-hand combat, and I'm talking about the more guerrilla marketing initiatives
Hmm. Hmm.
because everybody kind of knows about posting. But these are some of the things that most people don't think about that you can actually use your social
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
I know for campaigns, one of the things that we like to do is, if we have an email initiative or something coming up, we'll say,
Mhm.
hey, okay, who's on this email list? All right, these are the type of companies. Maybe they haven't engaged with us on social yet. Let's maybe go, even if we're not following them, go check and see what they're doing. Have somebody for that same amount of time engage actively and get in front of folks. These are all free ways to, put a
Yeah.
step forward and be more aware.
Mhm.
And then if you're just getting started and you're trying to figure out what do I do, I just became a notary, for example, and I'm trying to figure out how to market my business. Create a
Mhm.
social media account, start looking for the types of people. If you're specifically specializing in weddings and wedding officiants, start looking
Yeah.
for wedding planners. Look for people who are in your target audience and connect with those folks. Don't just connect with all the other notaries. You're talking to your your competitors, which is not terrible. I mean, there's notary associations like the New York Notary Alliance where you can connect.
Mhm.
But
Right.
if your goal is to generate clients, you want to reach and look for the people who are your clients on social.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I heard from you that we can not be spammy and still use DMs to
Yes.
connect with our ideal
Mhm.
audiences, whatever they may be, whether they're wedding planners or real estate companies or realtor, whatever the case may be. And that's awesome because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are afraid to do things like that because they're so tired of being spammed in their DMs.
It's funny because we're so tired of being spammed that when we get a genuine message, we react differently. It's almost kinda like snail mail. We used to
Yeah.
mail, mark
Mhm.
postal marketing was a huge thing for a very long time, postcards, sending them
Mhm.
to the mail, and then
Yeah.
people stopped because they were just getting so much of it. But
Yeah.
now we find in the service industry, especially B2B, I think notaries could be really successful with this, sending things in the mail, making them tangible, and even
Mhm.
sometimes personalized actually is really nice, and you keep it, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Wow, this is great." Especially if you're a kids brand or you're targeting things that have to do with kids.
Sure.
Kids love getting things in the mail because they
Right.
never get
Yeah.
anything. Um, so if you wanna be if you wanna go download some coloring pages from PNS and
There you
share
go.
them, that would be a really welcome surprise for a lot of
Mhm.
folks. So
For
those are the
sure.
type of things that I think, marketing is you do it until it gets saturated, and then you find another channel, but it just becomes a huge cycle. So things that were
Mhm.
once old become new, things that were new become old, but just
Yeah.
remember that whenever you're doing anything, remember to put the person first. Don't
Mhm.
just be self-serving. If you're genuinely saying, I would love to learn more about what's up with you, take
Mhm.
10 minutes to actually learn that. And you'll never know. You might have just found a new client or 50 new clients because that person now wants to
Right.
refer you for being so
Right.
genuine.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And I think, you hit on something too, that it is a great way to connect with people in your same industry. So other notary, so that you can share,
Yeah.
war stories, you can support each other. You can, if you have questions, you have notes somewhere, that will answer you and that kind of a thing, because that's vital in our business building, journeys. I think, we're not able to do it by ourselves. And so it is important to kind of surround yourself with like-minded people, even though they may seem like they're quote unquote competition. The power of collaboration is so much bigger than competing will ever be. So, and social media is a great way to be able to do that. I
And
love
there's
it.
I love that and just the idea that it's not scarce. There are so many clients. Like
Yes.
some of my favorite business advisors and actual connections are marketers just like me, and we refer each
Mhm.
other business, we help each other out. It's hard to do everything. Even if you're a mobile
Mhm.
notary, you cannot service the whole state of Florida. You have to pick
Oh,
some section, and
absolutely.
we do have digital services, but they're not always appropriate in every case. So, we have just being willing to one learn and
Mm,
to share and just know that scarcity is a myth is huge. But also just on thinking about socials to the point of yes, you can connect with notaries and your clients, but just know who you're talking to and when. So
mhm,
segmenting your messaging. So if you know that you are trying to, have a networking event for other notaries, then you'll want to use language that notaries are using. You want to use the hashtags that notaries would probably be looking for. But if you're
mhm,
looking for your customers and you want to use language that your customers are using, or you want to use language or things that your customers are looking for. So your customers probably will use hashtag notaries and insert your location
mhm.
versus notaries are probably not searching hashtag notaries because they are a notary, they're
Right.
probably searching other things that are relevant to things that will help notaries. So
Right.
just be kind of it's a little bit of a pause to think more in depth about that, but
Mhm.
definitely kind of take that thoughtfulness of like, what are they looking for and segment your messaging
Mhm.
accordingly.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I think one of the things that you kind of mentioned was, and what I guess would be something that they could do if they were not exactly excited about DMing people or going that route, but you still need to get in front of them, is to comment, to make sure that your name shows up in their feed so that, you're on, they know that you're interested in what they're doing. And they may not, reach out right now, but they know, maybe they'll learn what you have to do when you contribute positively to what they're doing.
One of my favorite hacks is to kind of so I'm gonna give you guys like a nice little steal for
Nice.
free. So, if you don't know what to say or don't know what to think about, one of the things that I have done in the past is I'll go to like a Quora or a Reddit and I'll look up questions that people are asking notaries.
Mhm.
And then I'll write down those questions and I'll write little answers to them or little hints. And I'll turn those into little what I call canned comments with little fill in the blanks. So then I'll go back to social and I'll kind of look for the hashtags that mention some of the terms in the question. And then you'll find people asking those same questions. And you now have created little answers that you can say, hey, John, here's an example of how you can do XYZ. And you'll answer that question. And then you can
Sure.
copy and paste and modify it as needed um, to the different platforms. And
Mhm.
what that does is one, it cuts down on your engagement time, meaning on the time it takes you to think about the answer, but you can
Mhm.
personalize it with the inserting the name or inserting something
Right.
special about the photo. Hey, John, I love dogs too. To answer your question, here's XYZ. And now that
Mhm.
doesn't feel like a robot, that feels like a human.
Right.
And it is a human, and you're being
Right.
helpful, but you're not being spammy.
Yeah.
And you don't
Yeah.
even have to follow that account if you don't want to. I know people are really worried about their ratios,
Mm.
how many
Yeah.
people I'm following to not, but you can at least engage and say, "Hey, I can be helpful," even if it's kind of a
Right.
drive-by. So,
I love it. I love it. I love the drive-by engagement.
showing love,
That
boom, boom.
sounds, yeah. Well, hey, it could work. So,
It
I mean,
does.
and again, I think that especially um, for solo entrepreneurs, people that are having a singular, notary business, if you will, it's hard to have a marketing budget. It's difficult, especially if you're just starting out. Even if you've been in business for a long time, of course, the market's been kind of rough and things like that. So sometimes it's hard to find business and not have to spend a lot of money. Um, and social media is a great way, just like what you said, our drive-by engagements, they will be able to stretch those marketing dollars and that effort a lot further than if you just sat there and hoped that business came to you.
Yeah, I think just one thing to remember when we're doing our outreach or marketing or any touch point is that we want to be omni-channel, meaning a lot of times we think about our marketing as separate, like a lunchbox or a lunch tray, and we say emails over here and socials over here and blogs over here. But in reality, they should be interconnected. So if you send out an email blast, it's perfectly fine to then go and engage with some folks. Another best practice, another quick tip is that if you're about to post, the best time to actually go and do some kind of engagement on your account and just liking and looking at your followers and just checking on them is right before you post because the platform says, oh, this person's active. And then right after that, you post. And now it reaches more people because the platform or the company feels like
Mhm.
you're more of an engaged user or customer. So
Got
it's
it.
kind of like using those type of hacks to just amplify and realizing that you don't have to be so pocketed. You want things to work together.
I love that. I love that. Great tip. Well, y'all have gotten a lot of great tips in a very short amount of time. Thank you, Arena. I so appreciate that. Is there any last parting words, anything that you would like us to know about you or our, audience that's watching?
Yes. So one thing that I am really excited about is I've been doing this for 10 years, and the problem you mentioned with solopreneurs particular is that they do
Mhm.
not have the marketing budgets, et cetera, to, like, have people on hand. So
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm trying to help more folks just like you guys, um, actually be more consistent and, being able to manage things and not be so all over the place so you can focus on what you have to focus on. I know with notaries alone, there's so many things, there's different laws, they're always changing. The
I
industry is
know.
changing, you have to change who you're targeting depending on what's going on,
True.
mortgage or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
so please follow along. Vox Pop Branding is my agency because we're going to be launching our own products to kind of help out with this type of stuff. And we would
Nice.
love to kind of help you grow as well. But I'm so excited. I love working with PNS. I love working with Nina. They do amazing work. And my last final thoughts is just, if you're a notary, even if you're not in New York, they do a lot of good work. So you might want to just follow along and just see, what you can learn from them because I could imagine being a new notary and not knowing what to do. And Marcy and Sheila are really, really good at finding the gems and making sure they're delivered far and wide, knowing that it's not a scarce market, that there is opportunity for everyone, and we're all better when we work together. So thank you for their work and keep following along because they do some great stuff.
Well, thank you. And you make us look good. So we couldn't do it without you. So we really appreciate you so much, Urina. And thank you for coming today and sharing all of this great information. And definitely go check out Vox Pop Branding because Urina is the best. So I am grateful that you all showed up today. Thank you for coming and watching our In the Know. And we definitely want to make sure that we keep you, the notaries, our clients, our customers, our audience in the know at every twist and turn. So thanks so much for being here and bye for now.